YouTube, what is good? So here's the plan for today's episode. I want to have a little bit of fun with this one. Remember a few episodes ago I talked about how I found my 50mm lens? Well, actually my parents found my 50mm lens at their house because I lost it there years ago. Well, when I went over there to get that lens, they were like, dude, why don't you take this giant box of prints with you that you left here years ago as well, because you got your own house now, your stuff can't be here. So today, we're gonna go through this box, I'm gonna react to some of my old prints, talk about them, and hopefully you can take this as a little bit of inspiration and a little bit of confidence boosting, because everyone makes bad photos, and in my case, I printed a lot of bad photos. So that means at the time I made these, I was like, yo, these are straight bangers, this is some heat, and now looking back, some of them are, and some of them definitely aren't. So we're gonna go through this box. I'm gonna tell you the stories behind these, and we're gonna have some fun today. So starting off from the top, this right here actually isn't even my photo. I need to put this up in my office. This is by an Atlanta photographer named Bhargava. It's a Jackson Street sunset silhouette photo. And you know, I'm probably gonna put this on one of these shelves or one of the shelves back there. Completely forgot I had this. We'll save these for the end because these are actually really cool. See, at the time, I thought this was such a cool photo. This is Atlantic Station, these two buildings right here. This right here by Beach Hill, this is dope. This is kind of what I thought I was doing with this photo, but this thing is over processed. The highlights look terrible. I thought it was cool just because it was like straight down the middle and we had these two buildings right here. No bueno. I think I printed this for a gallery I did in 2015 and I never ended up using it for good reason. But I do like the way this is printed on this mounted canvas like this. I should probably do more of these because it's a cool way to get a canvas for relatively cheap. This, really not good looking. This, I believe, is a photo I made out of my car window while I was driving. You can see like the car right here and the line and all that. I thought it looked cool and very like, I don't know, like impressionist. Looking back on it, it's pretty bad. I don't know why I would decide to print this particular photo. The colors are kind of cool though. I think I liked the colors at the time and that's why I decided to print this one. But yeah, not good. Word of advice, don't get tape on your prints. This thing's definitely ruined. This is a photo from Hilton Head, an astrophotography-esque image. You have the city right here making the orange. You have this nice dust cloud. I think the reason this is still in this box is because there's just not enough interest going on, but I always loved this star. It's like I was onto something, it just all the pieces didn't come together necessarily. I have this theory where photos like this sometimes look cool as a phone background or they look cool on the internet, like on Instagram, but they don't always print very well. And I think this is an example of that. The fence is just not lit up enough. It's too dark of a photo. Yeah, it looks kind of cool, but you can't really make out what city exactly you're looking at. I don't know, just not enough going on. But once again, the colors are kind of cool. I feel like years ago I was printing a lot of stuff because I thought the colors were really awesome. Not necessarily because the image itself was good. That's something I've learned over the last few years is, yeah, like color and the vibe of things is important, but it also has to be a good photo to be a good photo. More stuff we've already talked about. This is a cityscape of Atlanta. I need to go back to this location because I want to do another photo from here. Always thought this one was good because I managed to get all the elements you want in a photo. Our foreground is lit up pretty well with the buildings right here. They're like dark, but not too dark, so you can tell that it's sunrise. But we got a very well exposed sky right here, and then we have the street with a little bit of movement in the cars. This is a photo to this day that I still like. I've re-edited it a few times. I think it actually might be on my Instagram. If it's not, maybe I'll go find it and repost it soon, so check that out. Still good. This is actually a good photo that's pretty old. I think I made this in 2014. And once again, we got this float canvas right here. I love these things because when you hang them on the wall, you see right there, it like comes off the wall about an inch. I love the way these look. Oh wow, look, another float canvas of the exact same image. There's a reason I printed this. Once again, I gotta repost it to the gram. I'm definitely gonna find that photo and do it. This right here, this is from Buckhead, Atlanta. Now this is a place we've been to before. What I really like about this image, I love this background right here, this super sonic mega puff cloud going on. Obviously we got a lead line leading us to this building. This is back in the day where I was doing all this stuff with colors that were weird. I liked the green and I went with like more of a purple sky. It's not necessarily something I do a lot now, but at the time I thought this was straight heat and I thought it looked really cool. It still looks kind of cool. Like there's definitely a place for this. It's just not in line with the way I would do things now necessarily. There's a lot of small prints in here. These are from, I think, 2016, so these aren't as old, and you'll be able to tell because the quality of them is a little bit better. Love the colors on this. This was in Canada, and I remember I made this photo because I was like, wait, Canada still has payphones? Because we don't really have a ton of these in the States, and I was fascinated to see 3 of them in a row against this pink wall right here. This is another one that I might go back and re-edit and repost to the gram because I forgot how fire this is. 2 photos from New York. Like the action. I like the fact the guy's got a Yankees hat on. You got the cabs in the background. It's after a huge snowstorm in 2015. So this is 2015. That last one was 2016 though. This is one from the top of the rock. Had to get that classic shot like this, you know, with the Empire State back there. And then you got this, whatever you call it, like telescope-esque thing. I always thought these looked kind of cool together. Yeah, these aren't bad either. These are more recent prints though. I like doing these small prints. I don't know, postcard-esque size print. I think there's just something to it. It's not always what you want to do, but I've always enjoyed them, so there's a bunch of these in here that I'm kind of just skipping over right now. This, still in the plastic, I'm not going to take it out. Not enough going on. It was a lookup on one of the foggiest days I've ever seen in Atlanta. It needs something else to pair with it to really make sense, and even then, I don't know if it really does. Is it supposed to be that way? Yeah, it might look better vertical. I don't know. This one's, there's some composition issues going on with that one. This right here though, I like still to this day. This is a photo I made when I was just driving home one day on the highway. There was this insane rainstorm going on and I set up my tripod, which I shouldn't have been doing while I was driving, but I set up my tripod, made this long exposure right here, and the dashboard is still perfect, but we have all this raindrops and then these light trails. It's like chaotic, but looks so awesome. Still really like this one to this day. We got another small one right here. This one's not very good. That's a reason why it's still wrapped. This is dusty. Kind of more recent one. I think this is from 2016. I released, I want to say 25 of these on my site and they sold out in 2 days, which was awesome, especially at the time. I didn't have this YouTube channel at all really. So it was really cool to see the city embrace this photo. One of my favorite Atlanta images ever. We have Piedmont Park right here and then we have the city off in the background. It just, everything came together on this one. The colors, it's got a vibe. But the composition is right too, and it's kind of a unique vantage point because I shot this from a helicopter. One of my favorite Atlanta ones, one of my favorite prints ever, and honestly, one of my most successful prints ever as well. Skip that, that's weird. Atlanta, and then you had this almost jack-o'-lantern-esque smile right here. Kind of cheesy, the face, I don't know. This, I recently posted this to my Instagram. This is a photo I made a long time ago. I made this, I think, in 2014. Recently re-edited it and posted it. You can check that out, but always loved this. Loved the effect on the water here. Fantastic. Oh, wow. Smoky Mountain National Park. This is the trip that made me fall in love with the Smokies. Now, what you can see here is one of my earliest photo styles was doing all this stuff with just ridiculous color, like way too much. The waterfall right here is almost purple. The greens are super saturated and punchy. It doesn't look good, but at the time, I thought it was so dope. And we'll just do this one as the last one. Your boy was still hitting those train vibes back in the day. This was like the early stages of what is my style now. Back then, I still had this idea of making photos that were kind of inspired by the movie Collateral, had this dark feeling to them. The problem was my skill at the time wasn't good enough to really bring the images I had in my head to life, but now I've kind of finally got it all together. This is an early example of something I made. Did not print well at all, but yeah. It's kind of like one of the starting points to where I'm at now. So the last thing, check this out right here. This is something to this day I'm still very proud of. Now it's kind of dated with my style, but I made this book called Atlanta Going Up 2. The first one I got a copy of somewhere. It's like on one of those shelves. I'm not gonna find it. But basically my idea was taking aerial photos of Atlanta, making something new, fresh, and interesting out of the city that everyone had seen so many times. And I made this huge book right here. I think this is 12 by 18 each page. Each page is so thick, and they're printed with texture. Like, I think this is only a 30-page book, but each page is textured, high-level photo paper. These things were so expensive for me to print. Each one I think cost me $160 to print, so I was selling them for around $300, and I think I sold like 15 or 20 of them, which was my goal at the time, which is pretty awesome. You know, it's a really high price point for a photo book, especially from an amateur. When I look at a lot of these photos, I think I would have done this differently, I would have edited this differently. But one thing about doing a project like this, at the time, I had no doubt about it. I was like, yo, everyone's gonna buy this thing's gonna be amazing, it's groundbreaking, even though I was really, you know, not really well known, I guess. And if I had a message for you, it's if you have an idea, if you're inspired to do something, just do it. Don't worry about the outcome. You know, bring your vision to life. And at the time, this was the vision I had. I wanted to make this book of aerial photos, you know, mixed with ground Atlanta photos that I thought was interesting, laid out well, super, super high quality, basically a coffee table book that people could have for a long time and still enjoy. See, it's like photos like this, like now I would definitely remove these 2 pages. It doesn't, actually, you know, I might have. I think this was my draft book. So some of these things I might have taken out for the final ones. But yeah, like this is timeless. This photo is still really cool to me. Even that one, Spaghetti Junction. Yeah, so this at the time, a lot of people were like, dude, you're nuts. A $300 book is stupid, but it wasn't necessarily about that. It was about me bringing a vision in my head to life and creating what I wanted to create. You know, looking back at a lot of these prints, I think a lot of them aren't good. There's a lot of things I would have done differently, and today I'm a much better photographer. But all these prints and this book and these things that I look back now saying, these could have been so much better, got me to the point where I'm at today. And at the time, I didn't have a doubt about printing them. I was doing what I liked, what I thought was great, what I thought was cool, what I thought was interesting. And I think that's one of the keys to growing as a photographer. You can't, you know, let other people, other thoughts, what you think other people are gonna think influence what you're doing, especially early on in your career when you're just getting started. So if you have an idea, you have a photo you wanna print, you wanna make a book, whatever the case may be, just do it. Do your vision, bring it to life. Don't worry about other people. And who knows, maybe 5 years, 3 years down the line, you'll look back like me and say, damn, these are not very good. But that's not the point, because at the time, it was the best you can do, and that's how you progress and move forward. So hopefully you can draw a little bit of inspiration from this video, especially if you're familiar with my current photos. I think they're much better and much more put together and much more interesting, but these are the images and experiences that got me here, and I wanted to share those with you. So if you enjoyed today's video, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button for more, and we'll be getting out for a vlog later this week. It's gonna be awesome. See you guys then.